Meet Sarah Jakes Roberts. She turned getting pregnant at 13 into a $15 million business empire. While other teenagers were worried about algebra tests, Sarah was learning the family trade, how to monetize human desperation and call it ministry. See, Sarah didn't just inherit Daddy's megachurch. She evolved the Grift for the Instagram generation. Where televangelists sold healing waters and prayer cloths, Sarah sells something far more addictive. The illusion that your trauma makes you special, your pain has purpose. And for just $499, you can learn to woman evolve. This is the story of how America's royal family of religious exploitation created their perfect heir, and why her psychology is more terrifying than any fire and brimstone sermon you've ever heard. To understand Sarah's psychological blueprint, you need to meet her mentor in manipulation, Bishop T.D. Jakes. This man turned being poor in West Virginia into a $150 million net worth. How? By mastering the 3 pillars of religious grifting. Pillar 1, emotional manipulation. Jakes doesn't preach, he performs. Watch any sermon. The tears, the trembling voice, the perfectly timed pauses. It's not about God. It's about triggering psychological responses that open wallets.
Who do you think God is? Somebody playing in Vegas? God is not hitting a slot machine. God is a guaranteed, definite I am.
Pillar 2, manufactured scarcity. God told me to only accept 1,000 people for this blessing. Sound familiar? It's the same psychology casinos use. Limited time offers create panic buying. Pillar 3, reframe exploitation as empowerment. When poor people give their last dollars, Jakes calls it sowing seeds. When they stay poor, it's because they didn't sow enough. The house always wins. By age 10, Sarah was watching this masterclass in psychological manipulation every Sunday. But here's the thing about growing up in a cult of personality. You either become the victim or you become the predator. Then came 1998. Sarah, age 13, pregnant. The tabloids exploded. Most families would see this as a crisis. The Jakes family saw it as a business opportunity. Because here's what they realized. Shame is just pain that hasn't been monetized yet. And pain is the most profitable emotion in the religious marketplace. Let's talk about what Sarah learned in those crucial teenage years. Lessons that would make her more dangerous than her father ever was. Lesson 1, your trauma is your product. While her father sold generic hope, Sarah learned to sell personalized pain. Every woman in her audience sees herself in Sarah's story. If the preacher's daughter can mess up and still win, maybe I can too. Lesson 2, vulnerability is a sales strategy. Watch Sarah's content. Notice how she cries, how she shares raw, unfiltered moments. That's not authenticity, that's advanced emotional marketing. She's not being vulnerable with you, she's being vulnerable at you. Lesson 3, package redemption as repeatable formula. This is the genius of Sarah's Grift. She's not selling religion, she's selling a system. Do what I did, buy what I'm selling, and you'll get what I got. It's prosperity gospel for the therapy generation. By 2014, Sarah had weaponized her teenage pregnancy into a memoir, speaking tours, and TV appearances. But here's the psychological hook that makes her different from other religious grifters. She doesn't sell you perfection. She sells you the journey from imperfection. That's why her audience is more loyal than traditional church members. They're not following a perfect pastor. They're following their own reflection. While old school televangelists were still buying 3 a.m. TV slots, Sarah was mastering something far more powerful, the algorithm. She understood what Jakes never could. In the digital age, you don't need a congregation. You need a conversion funnel. The Sarah Jakes dopamine factory. Step 1, hook with trauma. I was a teen mom, broken, ashamed. Psychology, creates empathy and relatability.
Not only had I had a teen pregnancy, but I dropped out of college and I was in a toxic relationship, an emotionally and physically abusive relationship.
Step 2, promise transformation, but God took my mess and made it my message. Psychology offers hope and possibility.
God told me in that moment, though, I want you just as you are. You don't have to change. I'll use it.
Step 3, create false intimacy. Sis, I see you, I know your pain.
An opportunity, child, my wig is, well, tell me about it. You, I really don't care.
Psychology, parasocial relationship formation. Step 4, monetize the moment. Link in bio for my breakthrough course. Psychology, strike while emotional defenses are down. Her YouTube channel averages 2.4 million views monthly. That's not an audience, that's a customer database. Each view is a potential lead. Each lead is a potential customer. Each customer is a potential evangelist for the brand. But here's the most insidious part. Sarah doesn't just take your money. She makes you thank her for it.
This is our surrender.
Every time I come, before you even step into the stage,
All of the power of Almighty God now.
Her customers become her sales force, sharing testimonials, recruiting friends, defending her against critics. It's multi-level marketing disguised as ministry. Of course, it feels like a movement. That's the point. Movements don't require refunds. April 29, 2025. The announcement everyone saw coming. Sarah Jakes Roberts, successor to the Potter's House empire. But this isn't a touching father-daughter moment. It's the completion of a decades-long psychological operation. Think about it. Jakes spent 30 years building a congregation of people addicted to his particular brand of emotional manipulation. But what happens when the drug dealer gets old? You need a new supplier. Enter Sarah. Same product, better packaging. Where Jakes was the patriarch demanding respect, Sarah is the wounded sister offering understanding. Where he was the stern father, she's the cool aunt who gets it. But here's the psychological masterstroke. By positioning Sarah as the broken one who found healing, they've created something more powerful than authority. They've created identification. The numbers don't lie. Potter's House, $50 million plus annual revenue. Woman Evolve, $8.7 million annual revenue. Combined database, 2.1 million contacts. Shared revenue streams, $12 million plus in cross sales. This isn't succession, it's hostile takeover psychology. Sarah didn't just inherit a church. She merged two customer bases into a religious monopoly. Any business school would call this brilliant. Any cult expert would call this terrifying. So there you have it, the blueprint for turning teenage pregnancy into a religious empire. Sarah Jakes Roberts proved that in America, your biggest failure can become your most profitable asset, as long as you're willing to sell it to people desperate enough to buy it. The question isn't whether Sarah believes what she's selling. The question is, does it matter when the machine runs this perfectly? Drop a comment if you think I'm being too harsh or not harsh enough. And if you want to see how other religious grifters built their empires, smash that subscribe button. Trust me, this rabbit hole goes much deeper.